Hey y'all, Kymology here. 30 days of Kymology, day 8. Rooftop report from the roof. Look at that sun. So, 8 days in, the whole thing is about committing to my thing, your thing, my thing. The idea that we all have a thing and some of us aren't doing our thing. This is me doing my thing. So I did it as a challenge, or I've just organized it as a challenge because, hey, why not use what you know you're good at? So I seem to be good at 30-day challenges. That seems to be a way that I organize myself to explore something. So it seemed to make sense to use that for this. So that's what I'm doing. The whole thing is 3 to 5 hours a day, every day. Kymology challenges are about the everydayness of a thing, and it's going good. I feel a little all over the place, and I also feel that I'm building momentum, that I'm making momentum. The share part, I feel a little like this might not be interesting. It's out of my norm. I usually write, so I have that, the difference between writing and this for me is that I have the time to sit with it and edit it and make sure that there's a point. And if there's not a point, that I can decide that there's not a point and then I still want to share it. And so this feels different to me in that way, especially because points are important to me. And I'm partly learning or exploring that in my life, specifically around I think it's around, I guess you'd call it like just instant messages. Like I have a relationship to that I've talked about before, but I used to have a framework and a belief that I responded to everything. So that meant that every hey sexy, what's up, how are you that I got, I responded to, and that was my standard. And I've come a little ways from that. I'm still mostly in that space, and a person who writes beautiful or sexy as a comment to a story, I don't respond to all of those, but I still do mostly respond to like everything I get. And I have enjoyed the space of exploring why that is my standard, why I feel for that to be my standard, and it has been a progression. The reason I'm talking about it right now, I think, is because it has been an area of increased or heightened interest or attraction. I could probably also say that as I have been noticing that I'm more annoyed than usual the last few days about it. And I don't know if that goes with the energy of the last couple of days that I mentioned yesterday, that I was not in a funk, not off energy, the things that I work myself out of. But yeah, I noticed a thought that I was having today, which went something like, you're extra antagonistic today, kind of argumentative, aren't you? What are you doing? Why are you doing it? Why is that bothering you? And I am good with that in my life. I'm good with that space. I find it interesting. I like to explore it. I play with it, which looks like some of the things I get to respond to that I share with you. And then I also have a space that's like another area of that whole thing where I feel like advanced defensive about it, to explain to you in advance like why it's not a problem for me, because it seems that most people, some people, I'm not sure what most is defined as, so I won't use that language casually. It seems that a norm is to think like, just block them or don't answer them, or why are you responding to them? And I'm working on my why around those questions, because those are good questions. I don't feel to automatically dismiss people, and I do feel to respond. And I think it's what I've figured out so far, I think, is that I'm interested in interrupting a norm that I think is bad. And in a framework where I generally say and believe that I don't believe there is good and bad, which is a whole other topic, I will say that while I do not believe there is good or bad, I do decide what is good or bad for me and what I think. So I'm not sure the distinction there, but there is one that I'm working on. And for the sake of conversation, to say it casually right now, I will say, I think it's bad the way that we people, not we, because I'm not part of that people, I don't think, or I'm trying not to be, working on not being, intending not to be. People, the way some people use Facebook and Instant Messenger, and it's like, and I've been working on it the last couple days because I've found a heightened interest in it, meaning I've been heightenedly triggered about it, I guess. Triggered, interested, attracted, antagonistic, whatever you want to call it. I have been like organizing what it is that I feel about that. And one of the things that I worked out is, let's just get to the point, Kim. I feel like I'm rambling. That I feel like it's a waste of time. I guess that's what it really boils down to. I feel like it's a waste of time and a waste of energy, and that's a judgment. So then I go, okay, that's a judgment. People can do what the hell they want, and I guess I feel justified or righteous or like differently able to respond to it because I'm not seeking it. So you are what's upping me, and I feel that it lacks purpose, it lacks depth, it's casual, lazy. Like, these are the opinions I have about it, and I want to interrupt that. I think that's the whole point, is that I want to interrupt that. I want to shift that. And before this video gets longer, I will share one more thing that I thought about it today while I was working on this, which is, it seems that I want to interrupt what I think is a norm, and that I'm willing to do that in a way before I have the strategy figured out. And so far sometimes looks like I'm just being rude, which I have been called, and I'm okay with that because I want to interrupt what I think is a bad norm. And the example that I lined up for myself today was similar to junk mail. Like, think about junk mail decades ago. I actually don't know a lot about junk mail, but I imagine that there was probably more junk mail 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago, more catalogs, more flyers, more things like that sent in the mail. And somewhere along the line, people probably didn't like that. People like me, who even 5 years ago felt like it was like bad for the planet, I would take the time to call those people and unsubscribe, or I wouldn't just put it in the trash and not waste my energy on it. I would actually, in the businesses I managed, I did this too. I would have staff call and unsubscribe us so we would not keep getting 100-page catalogs of shit we didn't use. And so I likened that to contemporarily, it's like spam in your inbox. It's like people are using it thoughtlessly. When you contact me and say, how's the weather over there? You're a complete stranger and you're reaching out to a woman. Okay, arguably just set up the scene. It's a stranger, it's a man reaching out to a somewhat reasonably, arguably, for shit's sake, attractive woman. That would be me. I'm not calling myself attractive, I'm just saying, like, man reaches out to woman, stranger, how's the weather? What kind of, like, what are you really getting at? Like, what do you want? Just state what you want, state your business, and let's get on with it. And I got into a conversation with someone about this yesterday, and one of their points was, it doesn't always have to start off deep. You're right, it doesn't, but with me it does. And I would argue that how are you is just blah, blah. Maybe I won't share this one. We're at almost 9 minutes and I've been rambling about stuff. The point is, what I have to share about the challenge is that it's going great. I like it. I'm enjoying the work, and I hope that it brings a lot. Nope, I don't hope. I trust that it's going to bring a lot of value to you and to me. You meaning anyone who ends up finding it interesting and wants to work with my stuff. If you got this far, thanks. Energy to you, energy to me. Let me know what you want to know about, and I'll talk about that tomorrow. Ciao for now.